5 times the league called Dabi Bommy, and 1 time he did it himself. Written by XxMiserySmilesxX. Read by Yours Pranks. Relationship tags: League of Villains, Dabi, Todoroki Toya / Takemi Kaigo, Hawks. Character tags: Dabi, Todoroki Toya, Takemi Kaigo, Hawks. Bubaigawa Jin, Twice, Toga Himiko, Shigaraki Tomura, Shimura Tenko, Sako Asuhiro, Mr. Compress, Iguchi Shuichi, Spinner. Other tags: Crack, Humor, League of Villains Shenanigans. This work has some content that is suggestive or disturbing. If you would like to avoid it, the sections will be marked using the chapters function on YouTube. 1. It was just a small incident. Hawks cracking jokes, making Twice and Toga laugh at the base, while Dabi and Shigaraki battled it out in Overwatch, on the league's ratty old couch. Hawks chirped something particularly annoying, and Twice barked out a loud, manic cackle, causing Dabi to lose focus and take a hit from Shiggy's sniper. Gritting his teeth in agitation, he shouted, "Shut your feathered trap, you stupid whore." Hawks rolled his eyes dramatically, responding with, "Okay, mommy." Dabi whipped around to glare, face flushing crimson. "What the fuck?" he snarled, while the rest of the league collapsed into laughter. Hawks smirked, way too smug for his own good. Shaking his head, he turned back to the TV, channeling his anger into the virtual obliteration of Shigaraki. He almost did it, backing the bastard into a corner, and readying to let loose a round of gunfire into his chest, when Shigaraki whined, "Don't kill me, mommy." Dabi dropped the controller, giving Shigaraki enough time to sick a round of Widowmaker's bullets into his head, and promptly winning the fight to a chorus of whoops and cackles from the other villains. Dabi shook with rage, fuming silently. Those bastards better sleep with one eye open. 2. Toga took to it like a moth to a flame. A frantic, giggling, hyper moth, covered in blood and holding a knife. "Mommy!" she shrieked, running up to Dabi the next day with her signature blade in hand. He easily stepped out of the way for slicing fingers, scowling. "What do you want, brat?" "Will Mommy Dabi get us some more donuts when he's out on his date with Hoxie? Pretty please?" Toga begged, batting her long lashes and pouting. Dabi flushed, jumping into a battle stance. "What the fuck, brat? It's a stakeout, not a date." "I know!" she squealed, giggling with joy. "A cafe stakeout is the perfect first date. Oh, I hope one day I can take Uzu-chan or Ocha-chan out to a cafe for a stakeout. Then we can stalk them home and make them bleed and kiss while covered in so much blood so we taste so sweet!" She gushed, twirling around. Dabi made a gagging motion, shaking his head. "Your idea of romance is fucked up and repulsive." Toga gasped. "Don't tell me you're secretly romantic. Oh my gosh!" She swooned, leaning in. "I bet you want Hawks to take you out to a fancy restaurant and give you a bunch of roses. Blue roses, so it matches your eyes, and dance to some slow music and..." Dabi shoved her hard in the shoulder, and Toga stumbled back, dissolving into giggles and trying to stab him in the arm. Dabi just flushed, turning to stalk out as a shout of, "Bye, mommy!" sounded from behind. 3. Compress betrayed the burned bitch next, having been finally dragged into a gossip session by Toga and Twice, with the promise of face mask. He hadn't deigned to remove his actual mask, instead laying 2 cucumbers over his outer one, while Toga tried to throw them into Twice's mouth to catch. Shigaraki had also joined, though no one had invited him, or seemed to know what his goals were. "Of all the league members, who do you think would be the best parent?" Toga asked. "Kurogiri," Compress and Twice said at once, while Shigaraki said, "Me." They turned to stare at the crusty blue-haired freak, who glared back. "What? I'm the most responsible." Another long moment of silence stretched out, before Compress coughed. reaching for anything to change the topic. Well, we all know that Dabi is mommy.
Oh, definitely.
Toga snickered, grinning. Twice nodded.
No doubt about it. He's an ugly fuck with no bitches. You're all freaks,
Shigaraki said, the height of self-awareness as usual.
I can't believe you seriously want anything to do with that burnt bacon strip. It's not about his looks, idiot,
Toga chirped.
It's about his attitude, his personality. His personality's an on-fire garbage can. Never met someone kinder,
Twice said skeptically. Maybe, but you have to admit, there's a certain je ne sais quoi to it, Compress pointed out.
In your opinion,
Shigaraki groused, and Toga giggled.
That's just because you're into big soft boys. Like that one League of Legends player you're always talking about, the cute one in med school?
Shigaraki reached for her throat, and Toga waved the knife around, threateningly, in turn. Seeming unfazed, Dabi walked by, turning to glare at them. What are you idiots doing now? Don't worry, Mommy. We're behaving ourselves perfectly, Compress said, winking as Toga tried to slice through Shigaraki's major artery. Dabi clenched his fists, storming past without another word. This was war. 4. Twice was being extra annoying that afternoon. He seemed to have developed an interest in Dabi's hair, which led to about a half hour of awkward poking and prodding, never actually gathering the courage to fully run his hands through it. Dabi, on the other hand, had well enough courage to snap Twice's neck like a twig the minute it got to be too much. Finally, Twice crossed the threshold, trying to bite a black strand, awkwardly, around his costume's mask. Dabi finally snapped, whipping around, grabbing Twice by the shoulder, and pitting him against the couch. Twice, as usual, was of two minds about this.
Get off of me, you stupid oaf!
He yelled, pounding a fist against Dabi's chest, eyes huge as he let out a high whimper.
Oh, choke me, Mommy.
Dabi leapt back as if Twice was the one with the flame quirk and had just burned him.
What the hell? You little creep! Get away from me!
Hawks fell off the counter he'd been sitting on, collapsing to a laughing heap on the floor with Toga at his side. 5. They were in the heat of battle the 5th time, sweat sizzling against sunburnt skin, flames crackling, and lashes of weapons flying through the molten air. Smoke choked the small clearing they'd picked, formed by a pileup of cars, created by the traffic jam Twice had helped orchestrate. Spinner and Dabi were fighting back to back, against 2 heroes and 2 of their sidekicks. One of the sidekicks seemed less experienced than the other, missing punches and blows that should have been cleared to preemptively sight and dodge. It was enough that Dabi took his eye away from them, focusing instead on the other 3. It was the wrong move. As soon as the sidekick realized her opening, she sprang forwards, aiming a strong, quirk-driven kick at Dabi's jaw. Spinner spotted the flying foot just seconds away from connecting and shrieked, trying to pull Dabi down.
Dabi!
Dabi ignored him, dismissing it in favor of throwing a wall of flame towards one of the 2 heroes. Frustrated, Spinner yelled out,
Mommy!
Dabi whipped around, stepping forwards with a scowl, only to let out a shout as the foot brushed his shoulder, the sidekick landing in a tight roll behind him. Spinner sighed, getting back to his feet as the fight continued. +1. The hero, a tall, muscular hero, choked with the pomp and frills of an overambitious costume, gasped for breath beneath the heavy steel toe of Dabi's boot. The villain leaned down, arm on his knee, to leer into the man's face. His palms were already sparking, blue ashes falling to the ground and dying. Dabi shifted so they fell into the man's skin, leaving small burns, and causing him to whimper from the pinpricks of azure pain. Any last words, hero? You gonna go silently? Or are you gonna beg Mommy Dabi for your pretty little life? Dabi growled, manic grin splitting his face apart, and blue eyes glinting with terrifying fervor. The hero choked, pupils wide with fear, as he tried to regain the upper hand. Unfortunately, Dabi had no plans of letting him. Pressing a blazing palm to the man's thigh, burning away the thin fabric of his costume, and feeling his soul sing with bitter glee at the scream that ripped from his chest.
That's right,
Dabi yelled, crazed laughter escaping. Scream for mommy while your throat melts away. Then, true to his word, he set his other hand against the man's windpipe, which melted away like wax, blood boiling in a thick pool as the hero choked on his last breath. The League stared on, confused, a little traumatized, and a bit amazed, as Dabi continued to brutally dismember the dead hero's body, taunting him all the while. I really enjoyed that last little section. I feel like I don't really read a lot of things where I get like the dramatic pausing, especially with like a death scene kind of like this. It was a little fun, but also like so funny, just like, you gonna beg for your mommy? God, this fic is so silly. I really enjoyed it though. If you also enjoyed it, please go over to AO3, leave the author some love, some kudos, some comments if you enjoyed the work. And of course, I hope you enjoyed this podfic. I will see you when I do. Toodaloo!